Right now, in this exact moment, a powerful shift has already begun, and most people are completely unaware of it. There is a sudden change building between April 21 and 22, and it does not arrive slowly or gently. It hits fast, it moves quickly, and once it starts, it does not wait for anyone to catch up. Things that felt blocked, delayed, or confusing begin to clear almost all at once. Decisions that once felt heavy suddenly become simple. Thoughts that were scattered begin to align with sharp clarity. This is not random, and it is not in your head. There is a real reason behind this sudden momentum, and it is connected to a rare, energetic movement that shifts the way people think, speak, and act almost overnight. What makes this even more intense is that many will not realize what is happening until they are already in the middle of it, reacting instead of understanding, moving without control instead of using the energy wisely. That is where the difference begins. Because while some people will feel overwhelmed by this sudden acceleration, others will step into it and use it to change everything in their life almost instantly. From April 21 to 22, the pace of events begins to speed up in a way that feels almost unnatural. Conversations happen faster, opportunities appear without warning. Situations that were stuck for weeks or even months begin to move forward in a matter of hours. This is the kind of shift that can feel exciting, but also dangerous if you are not aware of what is really going on beneath the surface. There is a hidden pattern behind why everything suddenly starts working, and it is something most people completely overlook. It affects how quickly you make decisions. It influences the way you communicate with others. It even changes how confident you feel when taking action. And the truth is, this energy does not just bring progress, it also tests how well you can handle speed, pressure, and sudden change without losing control. There is a lesser-known side to this shift that almost no one talks about. While it can push you forward faster than ever before, it can also cause mistakes just as quickly if you act without thinking. Words spoken too fast can create tension. Decisions made too quickly can lead to regret. And yet, if you understand how to move with this energy instead of against it, it can become one of the most powerful turning points you have experienced in a long time. In this video, you are going to learn what is really happening during this short but intense window between April 21 and 22, why everything suddenly feels like it is speeding up, and how you can actually use this shift to your advantage instead of getting caught in its chaos. You will understand why your thoughts may feel sharper, why your actions feel more urgent, and why certain opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. More importantly, you will learn the exact reason behind this sudden change and how to stay in control while everything around you starts moving faster. There are specific signs that show this shift has already started affecting you, and once you recognize them, you will begin to see why certain things in your life are beginning to change direction so quickly. This is not just about awareness, this is about timing, because those who recognize this moment early have the ability to act with clarity, confidence, and purpose, while others remain confused and reactive. And there is one critical warning that you need to understand before you move forward, because this same energy that can help you rise can also create unnecessary problems if you are not careful. That is why staying until the end of this video matters more than you think, because what you learn here will help you move through this shift with control instead of confusion, with awareness instead of impulse, and with intention instead of regret. By the end, you will see this moment differently. You will understand why things are suddenly changing, and you will know exactly how to respond when everything starts working in your favor. Welcome to the channel. And if you want to stay ahead of these powerful shifts and understand what is really happening before everyone else catches on, make sure you subscribe and stay connected, because what comes next will only get stronger. The shift begins quietly, but it does not stay quiet for long, because as Mercury moves into Aries, the entire rhythm of thinking and action starts to change in a way that feels immediate and intense, like a sudden spark in a dark room that instantly reveals everything that was hidden before, and what once felt slow, heavy, and confusing begins to sharpen into something direct and clear, almost as if a fog has lifted from your mind without warning, and you start noticing that your thoughts are no longer scattered. They come faster, more direct, more focused. And this is where the energy turns, because Aries does not wait. It pushes forward, it acts, it moves with urgency, and when Mercury carries that energy, it affects the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you make decisions. So instead of going back and forth in your mind, instead of doubting every step, something changes inside you, and it feels like a switch has been turned on. You suddenly know what to do, not in a slow or careful way, but in a sharp and certain way, like the answer was always there, but now you can finally see it clearly. And decisions that once took hours or even days begin to feel simple, almost automatic. You stop overthinking, you stop hesitating, and there is this growing sense of urgency that pushes you to act. Not later, not tomorrow, but now. And this is where it starts to feel different, because it does not build slowly, it arrives suddenly, and that is what makes it so powerful and also so easy to misunderstand. Because when something changes this quickly, most people are not prepared for it. They feel the energy, but they do not understand it, and that is why it feels so sudden. Because it is not just about timing, it is about a shift in how your mind processes everything around you, and once that shift begins, it does not slow down to give you time to adjust. It keeps moving forward, faster and stronger, pulling you with it, and that is where the real transformation begins, because delays that once felt permanent start to break apart, situations that seemed stuck begin to move again, and it happens in ways that feel almost unexpected, like something behind the scenes has suddenly been unlocked, and communication becomes clearer, sharper, more direct. Conversations that once felt confusing now make sense, words come out faster, ideas connect more easily, and there is less space for doubt, less room for hesitation, and this creates a chain reaction, because when you think clearly, you speak clearly, and when you speak clearly, things begin to move, and that is when opportunities start to appear, not slowly, not gradually, but suddenly, almost out of nowhere, and it feels like everything that was delayed is now trying to catch up all at once, and you start to notice small changes at first, then bigger ones. That message you were waiting for finally comes. That response you thought would never arrive suddenly appears, and it shifts your direction instantly. That idea you ignored before begins to make sense in a way it never did. Like something inside you is now ready to understand it, and even the fears that once held you back begin to lose their grip. Not because they disappear completely, but because the energy pushing you forward becomes stronger than the fear holding you back. And that is where the real power of this shift begins to show, because it is not just about things working, it is about you moving differently, thinking differently, acting differently, and that creates results faster than you expect. But this is also where the hidden risk begins to grow, because not everyone will use this energy the right way, and that is where the difference between progress and problems becomes clear, because Aries energy is fast, it is bold, it is reactive, and when that energy combines with Mercury, it can push you to act before you fully think things through. It can make you speak before you fully understand the impact of your words, and it can create a sense of urgency that feels like you must act immediately, even when waiting would be the better choice. And this is where the tension builds, because the same energy that can push you forward can also create mistakes just as quickly. And that is why this moment is not just powerful, it is also sensitive, because one fast decision can change everything, one quick reaction can create consequences that last longer than the moment itself. And this is where many people lose control without realizing it, because they confuse speed with clarity, and they assume that because something feels right in the moment, it must be the right choice. But that is not always true. And this is why this energy can build you or break you depending on how you use it, because if you move with awareness, it becomes a powerful force that pushes you toward progress. But if you move without control, it can lead to actions that you later question, words that you wish you could take back, and decisions that create more complications instead of solutions. And that is why understanding what to do becomes so important in this phase, because it is not about stopping the energy, it is about directing it. It is about using the speed without losing your balance, and that starts with a simple approach that most people overlook, Act, but stay aware of what you are doing. Do not let the urgency control you. Let it guide you without overwhelming you. Speak clearly but not aggressively, because the way you express yourself now carries more impact than usual, and words spoken in a rush can create tension that is difficult to reverse. So slowing down your response even by a few seconds can make a huge difference, and this is where control becomes your advantage. Because while others react quickly and make mistakes, you move with intention and create better outcomes, and that is what separates those who benefit from this shift from those who struggle with it. Because it is not about moving the fastest, it is about moving with the most awareness. And that means trusting your ideas, because they are sharper now, they are clearer, but still giving yourself a moment before acting on them, not to doubt them, but to refine them, to make sure that the action you take is aligned with the direction you want to go. And this creates a balance between speed and control that allows you to move forward without losing stability. And that is where real progress begins, because you are no longer stuck, but you are also not rushing blindly. You are moving with purpose, and that changes everything. And as this energy continues to build, it begins to affect people differently depending on how they naturally think and act. And this is where certain individuals feel the impact more strongly, especially those connected to Aries, Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio energy, because this shift directly influences how they process thoughts, make decisions, and respond to situations. And for them, the change can feel even more intense, more immediate, more noticeable, like everything around them is speeding up while they are trying to keep up with the pace. But even for those who are not directly connected to these signs, the shift is still there. It still influences the way you think and act. It still creates that sense of urgency and clarity. And that is why, even if you do not believe in it, you will feel it, because it is not something you need to accept to experience. It is something that shows up in your actions, in your thoughts, in the way situations begin to change around you. And once you notice it, you cannot ignore it, because it continues to build, continues to move, continues to push forward, creating a chain of events that feels almost unstoppable. And this is where the energy keeps unfolding, layer by layer, moment by moment, revealing new opportunities, new challenges, new decisions that require your attention, and the way you respond to each one begins to shape what comes next. Because this is not a single moment, it is a flow of movement that continues beyond just one day. And the more aware you are of it, the more you begin to see how everything connects, how one decision leads to another, how one action creates a reaction that opens new paths. And this is where the experience becomes deeper, more intense, more real, because it is no longer just a shift you feel. It becomes a shift you actively move through, shaping your direction with every step. And that is where the true impact of this energy continues to expand without slowing down. And now everything comes down to this moment, because what you are feeling right now is not random and it is not temporary. It is a turning point, a shift that marks the end of waiting and the beginning of real movement. And once you recognize it, you start to see how everything begins to align in ways that did not make sense before. The delays lose their power, the confusion fades, and a new kind of clarity takes its place, one that pushes you forward instead of holding you back. And this is where things start working again, not slowly, not uncertainly, but with a momentum that feels real and undeniable. And this is where you stop waiting and start moving, because the energy around you is no longer asking you to stay still. It is pushing you to act, to decide, to step forward even if you are not completely ready. Because readiness is not what creates change, action does. And the moment you begin to move with this energy instead of resisting it, everything starts to shift in your favor, and that is where the real transformation begins, because this is not just about one decision or one opportunity. It is about a chain of movement that keeps building, one step leading to another, one action opening the door to the next. And once it starts, it does not slow down. It continues to grow, to expand, to create new possibilities that were not visible before. And that is why this moment matters more than it seems, because it is not just a phase, it is a beginning, a point where everything starts to move in a new direction, and the way you respond to it will shape what comes next. So stay aware, stay in control, and most importantly, do not hold yourself back when the path begins to open, because this is your chance to move forward with clarity and confidence in a way that was not possible before. And if you want to stay ahead of these powerful shifts and understand what is coming before it happens, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others who need to see this right now, because the next phase is already building, and what happens next is even bigger.